Hello friends and enemies, welcome to the last-ish wrap-up for February. If you're new here, I did mid-month and wrap-ups. In March I'm going to test doing a different format for my wrap-up, so be aware. No mid-month next month, we're going to do like a highs and lows situation. Mostly I just really want to have another video in the middle of the month that isn't a wrap-up, so that's where we're at right now. We'll see how it goes, but this month we are going to wrap up February. And I'm going to dive right in by telling you my stats for February, and then we'll talk about everything I've read since my mid-month wrap-up. So first up, I read 33 books in February. I'm not really sure how I managed this, but also I know how I managed this. A lot happened. I did read a lot of manga. That helped. Those 33 books accounted for 8,254 pages. My average rating was a 4.59. which is not too bad. I do tend to rate higher for most of the things I read. I tend to only pick up things I think I'm going to enjoy and DNF quickly if it's something I really like. I may read a page of something and just not like it and put it down. I don't really count that as a DNF or anything. Like, I just don't even mark it as anything, you know? I read 5 books from Kindle Unlimited, 4 books from the library. I had 1 reread. And then our age demographic breakdown is 23 adult titles and 9 YA. Then for format, we had 5 ebooks, 8 audiobooks, and 19 manga. That's wild. I didn't realize I'd read that much this month, but I have. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into all the books I read. I did not have any DNFs, 1, 2, or 2.5 stars. My 1 3-star was Lover at Last, which I talked about in my Goodreads video and also in my mid-month. Next, we have my 3.5, which is Sweep and Peace by Ilona Andrews. I missed the live show for this, but my thoughts here for you very quickly on this one. I feel like this book suffers from booktwoitis, as I call it. It just has that second book slump to it, and I don't love it. I liked the introduction of some new characters. I liked the expansion on the magic system and the world building here, and I liked a lot of the book. I still found it a really enjoyable read also, but I didn't love it like I loved the first book and have loved other Ilona Andrews books. So for me, it's just kind of a 3.5. It's just fine, you know? It did what it needed to do for me to enjoy it, but it didn't give me enough of the romance personally, and I think that's where it suffered. Excited for book 3. Also curious. Next, my 4 stars, which I did have quite a few this month. So first we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry, Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley, and Star Wars from a Certain Point of View. Those are the first half of the month books I read and have already talked about. The new ones are Sugar Sugar by Lady Marie. This is a new to me Black author. This is a sugar daddy romance that's really cute, really fun, very sweet, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. If you are looking for something hot and spicy to pick up and have a quick little read one night, this is a great book option for you. I'm so excited for more to come out in this series and to read more from this author. The plot point of this follows a girl going on a date night with her sugar daddy, and they finally take it up the next level to mean more than just her going on dates with him. They hadn't hooked up previously or any of that. Their sugaring situation was very much not sexual, but she didn't like talk down to the sex work aspects of sugar daddying. Or sugar babying? I shouldn't call it sugar babying, right? Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying. She didn't talk down to that at all. But I really liked how it worked and played out. It was very cute, very fun, great steamy. And there was some, I think I called it voyeurism in the blog, but it's exhibitionism. I mix up those words, but you get what I'm saying. So that was fun. And then as part of like reading my shelves, I did finally pick up Queen Takes Rose this month. Also, the cover I have is very pink, so it felt fitting. Oh, there's something on the cover. Anyways, this was pink, so it felt fitting for February. This is by Katie Robert and the final book in the Wicked Villains series. I finally finished it, and honestly, I liked it. I still continue to debate if this is actually 3.5 for me, but I did like it enough. I think it wrapped up Malone and Aurora's storyline nicely. I enjoyed their sex scenes together. I enjoyed the tension we had building, but I think it felt very rushed at the end of the day. I almost wish it was a little bit longer so that we could have expanded the story. And it was sad to read the setup for Sabine Valley and know that that's kind of on hold right now. Katie wrote like the first 2 books in the series and they didn't do great, so she's kind of just put the series on hold, which I understand and it makes sense. It just, you know, sucks as a reader sometimes, but yeah. I will eventually get to Sabine Valley and I'll see what I think. Then I read The 6 Deaths of the Saint by Alex E. Harrow, something like that, this one. This was all over TikTok briefly and I was intrigued by it. Also, it's a quick read. It sounded like my kind of like weird fiction. I like weird books sometimes. And this is a weird book. We follow someone who continues to be reincarnated, and there's a lot of storylines here unfolding and some surprises for something that is like an hour-long audiobook. I ended up around a 4 for it because I think it's something I would like to revisit and read with my eyes, or tandem read with my ears and eyes at the same time. Perhaps. We'll see. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I thought it was really interesting. I feel like they did a lot in 30-some pages. So much happens. So yeah, this was fun. If it's been on your radar, I recommend you get out there and pick it up because I truly don't think you'll be disappointed. Next, we have Unhinged by Onley James. This is my members pick for February. I read this and I was pleasantly surprised. I have been very, very, very hesitant to pick this series up because personally, at least, I felt like I just wasn't sure. Like, I knew people that loved it and I trust their opinions, obviously, but I'm always hesitant to pick up men loving men books by women that don't really indicate to me one way or the other their preferences as far as identity goes. And again, it's not that I think people need to out themselves either. I just think there's such a lack of men loving men written by men, like gay men, in the romance community that I struggle on platforming an author who isn't that when I read these books. That's all. But Unhinged for me was a big surprise, and I plan to continue the series very soon, like very soon. So this follows 2 men, one who was sexually abused and trafficked as a child, and another one who was also abused as a child but turned into a psychopath or a sociopath, one of those. And it's so good. Anyways, the these two men, they are amazing. Like, they were really fun characters to watch on page and to learn and explore what love meant to them and how they could care for each other. I would describe this book as a book with very dark themes, but very light and soft and sweet romance. And I really liked the mix of those 2 items in this book so much. I think it was so well done. And that is why I loved the book and want to continue. I do want to give some content notes here for, obviously, as I've already mentioned, abuse as a child, sex trafficking, pedophilia, Harry Potter references. That's kind of what knocked it down to a 4 for me. Just an FYI. That's what knocked it down to a 4. So yeah, I think that the series as I continue will get better, and I'm really excited because we meet a lot of the brothers. I think we meet all of the brothers in this book. So we'll get to see all of their stories as we go, and I'm very curious. Very, very curious how that's going to play out. Next, the last book I read in the month of February was American Royalty by Tracy Livesay. This was an arc that I had last year, and I'm again trying to get through arcs from last year, trying to get through stuff. So I finally got an audio from the library for this and decided to just listen to it, and I was surprised by this. So this I picked up because it's Tracy Livesay and I like her writing. I've liked her other books a lot. I was hesitant because this is kind of the mix of things I don't like, as in royalty and celebrity. But this follows Jameson, who is the prince, kind of Prince Harry-esque, right? And Duchess, or Danny, who is our rapper, Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B style, someone like that. And this surprised me, honestly. I really, really liked this book until the very end. The last 15 to 20% of this book for me felt too fast, and like the people that needed to get like repercussions for their actions was like too neatly tied up in a bow. So yeah, the end part for me just did not work well on this. I think it would have been a 5-star if I felt like the end was wrapped up better. I think we're getting another one with her friend, and I am curious about that romance though. But yeah, for the most part, I really liked the sex in this book. I really liked most of the plot. It was very like lusty and insta-lovey. So that was fine. It worked for me. I don't know. It worked for me right now, and I'm not really sure about how or why, but it did. All right, next, my 5-star reads. So we have Lost in the Moment and Found. I talked about this in my mid-month. Really enjoyed the newest Shauna Maguire edition, but it is a really hard-hitting one, and seriously, content notes. For on-page death of a parent, very early on in the book, and grooming, but just be aware. Next, I did read Cupid's Peak by Lee Jacquot. This is the newest Holly Knights novella. I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. I love this series. I am obsessed with it. I cannot wait for more in this series. This is my favorite thing. I love these books. These are the perfect little bite-sized novellas as well. I think they have just the right amount of spice, just the right amount of like plot, just enough like tension build and all the things. This one also features exhibitionism or voyeurism, whatever you want to call it, in this one as well. And it is a hockey player, which I think this is part of what spurred on my need to read a hockey romance / read hockey romances. So it's a whole thing. Next, my 6 stars. I had 3 6 stars this month, which is like unheard of. And it was the shortest month. I don't know how, but these are like all-time favorites for me, which is A Soul to Keep by Opal Rain, which I talked about in the mid-month, as well as Real by Kennedy Ryan. Same thing. We discussed this in my mid-month, but the newest one, y'all, is Syndicate of Sins. I'm not going to try and say this author's name because I tried to say it in my reset and my brain like could not do it. So we're going to roll with what my brain needs today, but it's by Marie. And this book was every single thing I needed in the moment I read it. Again, I had a very specific craving. I still have this craving, but I have to read some other things for a thing. So I'm like, I'm juggling a lot. It's fine. This was a dark romance mafia book. Content notes right off the bat here are going to be abuse, child abuse, kidnapping, murder, gore, just general violence. What else? I think that's it. This is like an enemies to lovers, but this follows Scar, our heroine. She is such a badass and I love her. I'm obsessed with her. She has been kind of put down by her uncle, who is the head of the mafia, and kept in hiding sort of, but she has to go do like random sneak and grab jobs for him. But she also has a secret identity that her uncle doesn't know about, nor does her keeper Enzo know about. And y'all, it's so good. So I don't want to like give too much away. I talk about it a little bit more in my vlog, but seriously, spectacular what her secret identity is. She ends up in a situation where the boys who have spun off from the main mafia families, so we have Kenji, who's Yakuza, we have Caleb, who is Irish mob, and we have Nico, who is Russian mob. They have like formed their own group and they're going to take out their families. They're going to take out their families. I love this tension build of this. So the 3 of them are very close, have been known to share women. So you know where this is going. And lo and behold, she has a run-in with Caleb very early in the book. And that kind of kicks off some of the stuff about her past. And ends up married to Caleb. And then shared between the 3 boys. And together. And it is spectacular. There is a really great dynamic where Nico is like very dominant and Kenji's very submissive, and R will like boss him around and make him clean her up after, and it's hot. Like there's a lot in this book and it is a very hot book. I, no joke, stayed up to 2 a.m. reading it. So be forewarned, this is a good candidate for the Bad Decision Book Club, aka staying up all night reading a book and being too tired the next day. If you need that. There are like nights when I need that, you know? But again, proceed with caution if you, like me, often join the Bad Decision Book Club. It has that element to it. But again, it's very dark and twisted. I really loved how the plot unfolded. I really loved the enemies to lovers aspect of Caleb and Scar. Like, they're not quite full enemies. They're like rivals to lovers / like, you infuriate me and I have to get it out. So we have to fuck at some point to lovers. This was spectacular. I loved the conclusion. I plan to go back this month and read the first book in the series because we meet the characters from the first book in the second book and I want to know their story. And then I'm just eagerly anticipating the release of the newest one, which I don't think has a date, maybe April. I cannot remember the date for it, but I can't wait for it. I loved this. Oh, it hit a spot. If you have other books like this, let me know because I truly like, it's all I want to read now. It's all I want to read and I don't know why. I don't know, but it's hitting a spot, a craving right now. All right, let's talk about all the manga I read this month. All right, so I read Yona 1 through 5. This is volume 5. For the live shows, this was great. I read it, I think I talked about it in my mid-month. I also read Outbride volume 3 and talked about this in my mid-month. Same for Yakuza Fiancé volume 2. And then Apothecary Diaries 2 and 3 I read earlier this month. As you know, I've been doing my monthly resets. If you haven't watched this yet, I kind of talk about things on my radar and what I'm doing. So I'm working on a volume 1 project, so I'm not going to talk extensively about this one. But I did read I'm Kinda Chubby and I'm Your Hero volume 1. You should get a vlog in March with all of these goodies. I'm really excited for it. I'm hopeful that I will continue to love the series, but I really liked it. I did give it 4 stars. I think it's a great start to a series and I love our little chubby hero who's an actor. And in the same vein, I also read volume 1 of Vampire Dormitory 2 and 3 this month because I read volume 1 and couldn't put it down. When Read What You Own is over This is probably a series I will be picking up by summer. It ends, I think, this year. I can't remember. But anyways, we're going to be on a hiatus at the very least if it doesn't end this year. So I'm going to slowly pick up more volumes of this. I'll probably pick it up in batches of 2 or 3, read them, and then pick up more instead of getting them all at once or catch a sale on them. This follows a girl who is pretending to be a boy and ends up in the vampire dormitory with the like future king of vampires sort of thing. And it follows her pretending to be a boy and giving him blood to feed him and learning about the vampire community. And then we also have a secondary love interest who is not on the covers. I'm really excited for this. This is really fun. It is like very much a popcorn read for me, like shoujo. I just keep like reading it and I'm just having a blast. So I can't wait to read more and I'm really excited for it. Last but not least, we have Wotakoi. I read all of Wotakoi this month, volumes 1 through 6. Technically 13 volumes because these are all bind-ups of 2 volumes besides the last volume. So hold on, I'm going to pick one out and hold that up. So in the last vlog for February that just came out on Thursday, if you're watching this like as it comes out on Tuesday, like the last vlog that just dropped, I had read all of Wotakoi in it and I loved this. I give the whole series a 5-star. It ranks second to Sweat and Soap for me, but if you're looking for another slice of life, really cute romance series, this is great. It is a josei, so it is targeted towards older women, aka over 18. When I say older women, that's what I mean. But yeah, so it's targeted to that audience and it follows 3 different couples falling in love and finding love, etc. So we follow 2 childhood friends. They are adorable and both really hardcore otakus. Like she writes manga fics and he's like a hardcore gamer. And then we follow these 2. Hopefully you can see it. Anyways, they have been dating since like high school-ish and they're kind of like rivalry to lovers-ish. I love their dynamic. They may be my favorite. They may be my favorite, which is a hard task here, okay? Because Narumi and Hiro Taka are like just adorableness, but Hanako and Taro are also like everything. And then last, I'm gonna grab the cover that has the 2 of them. And then Noya and Ko, their relationship's really cute too. All of these are just really sweet and fun. And you follow all 3 couples through the whole series. My only complaint is I wanted it to end a slightly different way than it did for our main couple. That's it. But otherwise, I had a blast with these. I plan to reread them at some point, probably next year. I'll probably reread Sweat and Soap this year and then reread this next year. And just kind of switch off because these are just, they're heartwarming, they're fun, they're cute, they're great. Highly, highly recommend. That is everything I freaking read in February, y'all. It was a lot. So let me know in the comments what you've read this month. And if you don't want to do that, you can leave me a rain emoji in the comments because I just realized it's raining outside, which is why I paused like an idiot for a minute there because I was listening to the rain. You wouldn't have seen that. I edited it out. But leave me a rain emoji of your choice. And I will be back in just a few days with my next video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll have links to everything down there for you. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions. We'll get